"If you can fix my car, you can date me," she joked. He fixed it in minutes. It was smack in the center of the parking lot when the engine began to cough, splutter, and eventually stop working. A moan could be heard coming from Claire as she slapped her driving wheel in exasperation. She had a meeting scheduled for 20 minutes, and now her foolish automobile had made the decision to betray her before the appointment. When she did so, she became aware of him. Jake, the quiet mechanic from the shop down the street, was seen leaning against a motorbike that was sleek and somewhat damaged. He had grease on the forearms of his hands. His keen blue eyes were concentrated as if he could see right through metal, and she had seen him as he was continually fiddling with something. As she lifted the hood, Claire pretended that she had some kind of comprehension of what she was looking at. An unfastened wire. A battery that has died. Is it a critter that is chewing on the engine? In the dark, using a cloth to wipe his hands, Jake strolled up to the location. Need help? She let out a loud and theatrical sigh. "If you can fix my car, you can date me." A joke was being told, an inane and pointless stream of speech. Jake, however, leaned beneath the hood without uttering a single word, and his lips twitched. Exactly 30 seconds after that, the engine began to roar to life. It caused Claire's jaw to drop. "What the how?" It was Jake's sneer. "There is a loose spark plug wire." Simple solution. After wiping his hands once again, he looked directly into her eyes and issued a challenge. "All right." In relation to that date, it caused her cheeks to flush. By calling her bluff, she had not anticipated that he would do so. The way he stared at her, however, was one of self-assurance with a hint of amusement, and it caused her stomach to turn. She responded, "Fine," while crossing her arms over her chest. "But only if you tell me how you fixed it that fast." With his voice down, Jake leaned in closer. "It is a trade secret. Nevertheless, I'll tell you about it over dinner." Then, all of a sudden, Claire had the realization that she could have come up with the most intriguing relationship of her whole life by using humor. Would you want to know what happens after this? Could it be that Jake is hiding even more secrets under his hood? Maybe Claire is going to find out that some men aren't only good at fixing automobiles, they're also good at fixing hearts. Perhaps this is just the beginning of a high-octane relationship that neither of them anticipated would develop between them. In any case, fasten your seatbelt. The beginning of this tale is just around the corner. A darkly lit Italian restaurant with red checkered tablecloths and candles that drip wax into Chianti bottles was the establishment that Jake decided to eat at. It was not a very nice establishment, with her pencil skirt and silk blouse. Claire had the impression that she was overdressed. Jake seemed to be completely at ease, even though he was still wearing oil-stained pants and a worn band t-shirt. "And so," Claire said, slowly swirling her glass of wine, "it is a trade secret. Toss it forward. I was wondering how you were able to repair my automobile in only 30 seconds. Jake relaxed his posture and smiled slowly as he leaned back. "Do you believe that it was nothing more than a stray wire?" "It was, wasn't it?" He reduced his volume of speech. "It's true that the wiring for your spark plug was connected incorrectly. However, the manner in which it was disconnected, this is a good example. It seems as if someone cut it." Claire became completely thawed. "Exactly what are you claiming?" "I'm suggesting that someone didn't want you to make that meeting today," he said as he grabbed a breadstick and snapped it in half through the middle. Her thoughts were racing due to the fact that Lydia, her competitor at work, had been vying for her promotion. There was a parking garage located next to the workplace. The realization dawned on Claire that you didn't just find the problem, you have a good idea of where to search. As the candlelight illuminated Jake's eyes, they sparkled. "It's safe to say that I am familiar with the concept of sabotage. Is it the military?" she speculated. He had that bearing, which was characterized by controlled, watchful, and coiled energy. It was not answered by him. Instead of that, he reached into his pocket and took out a rather little metallic object, and complex gear that is very small and has been polished to a sheen. On the table that was in the middle of them, he put it. What exactly is this? A gentle reminder, he murmured in a low voice. Every single thing that is broken may be repaired. There are even things that aren't automobiles. Claire's throat became more constricted. After her most recent relationship, she had the sensation of being deconstructed, refused to go. She took the equipment in her hands. Through his touch, it had a warm feeling. She changed the topic by asking, "Why am I interested in mechanics? If you had abilities such as yours, you may get employment any place. Formula One racing, space and space." A grin began to vanish from Jake's face. He followed the grain of the wooden table with his finger. A store was owned by my father. Always, he would say that machines are not able to lie. Despite the fact that they are prone to breaking, whining, and overheating, they are always honest with you. Individuals, he made a head shake motion, not nearly as much. It seemed as if a live wire was being charged through the air that was between them. The realization dawned on Claire that she was no longer just curious. His rough edges, his calm focus, and the way his calloused fingers handled the delicate gear with regard all drew her, and she found herself pulled to him. All of a sudden, Jake's phone began to buzz. The moment he caught a glimpse of it, his demeanor became more stern. "Having problems?" and Claire inquired. He murmured, "Shop alarm," many times. "The motion sensor is located in the rear garage." "Take a seat here, like hell," Claire said as she rose up and threw some dollars onto the table. "You can count on me. This is the shop at midnight." The alley that was located behind Jake's garage was completely dark, and it smelled intensely of oil and damp concrete. Smashed glass was found in a side window. As Jake walked like a shadow, Claire could be seen following closely after him, her heels left behind in his vehicle. Inside, there was a dispersion of tools, but none of them were taken. Jake was renovating a classic Mustang, and instead, someone had spray-painted a statement on the hood of the vehicle, "Do not get into IT with her." A way was spelled incorrectly. A chill went through Claire's veins. With a tight jaw, Jake said, evidently, he was not startled by it, "Yes, I am angry, not surprised." However, Claire said, "This is not about my promotion," as she listened intently. The phrase "this is about me," Jake shifted his attention to her, his eyes glaring fiercely in the faint light of the emergency room. "I was aware that your former partner was a piece of work. I had no idea that he was so incredibly foolish. Hey, Mark, without a doubt, Claire's charming and domineering ex-boyfriend who was unable to accept the fact that they had broken up. What did you do so?" With a straightforward tone, Jake picked up a wrench and stated, "Ran his plates when he was lurking near your office last week. The ignition coil in his BMW is not functioning properly. The possibility of his being stranded someplace, uncomfortable." Claire remained fixed. "You are very scary." As Jake moved closer, the warmth of his presence penetrated the otherwise chilly atmosphere of the garage. "Only to those individuals who cause harm to what is mine." It was the word "mine" that lingered between them. It was raw, possessive, and electrifying. It was Claire who did not flinch. She pointed to the vandalized Mustang and said, "Fix this," as she nodded her head. "Take care of it, and maybe." One of Jake's eyebrows was lifted. "Possibly. What is it?" Claire's lips were touched by a grin that was both slow and bold. "It's possible that you'll obtain a second date." Jake did not look back with a grin. His eyes fell to her lips as he looked at her. He spoke in a harsh voice and said, "Deal. How about Claire?" "At this point, it is no longer a game." He made contact with my business. "It's my automobile." The depth of his gaze penetrated hers. "Yes, you." Sandpaper and solvent were the first things he grabbed as he turned his attention to the wrecked Mustang. The menace was gradually eliminated by him, one stroke at a time, while Claire watched with her pulse racing fast. After dipping a cloth in polish, she joined him and took up a rag. "So," she remarked as she worked next to him, their shoulders coming close to pressing against each other, In addition to dealing with wrecked automobiles and warding off former partners, are there any additional skills that you are concealing? Paused for a moment, began to look at her, really looked into it. Claire, he said without making a sound, you have no idea, there was a start of rain falling outside. Something brand new, something hazardous and bright, was slowly coming to life within the garage, which was surrounded by damaged items that were waiting to be made whole.